It is just a huge honor to be, and
Nice to see you today.
nice to see you. I'm sitting here in one of the greatest civilizations that ever lived. I'm in with Noritoshi Iwata
Right, yes.
in Tokyo, Minato-ku, Nippon.
Right.
And Americans call it Japan, but you guys call it Nippon or Nippon?
Nippon.
You call it Nippon?
Yes, we call also Nippon. Japanese language called Nippon.
Okay, I heard the older people call it Nippon, and the younger people call it Nippon.
It depends.
Nihon.
Nihon or Nippon. It depends. Situation.
Nihon.
Yeah.
And America has that. Some call it the United States, some call it America,
Right.
some call it
yeah.
USA. And Tokyo, the largest city in America is New York City, and that's about 18 million people, and it's in 5 boroughs. Tokyo is 20 million people in 23 districts.
Yes,
And we're in the Minato-ku district right now.
Minato-ku or Chuo-ku, like this. It's the center of Tokyo. Here it is.
And you know, one of the reasons I like meeting dentists from all over the world on Dental Town is because, you know, they always say you need to think outside the box. And I think when people are born, raised, lived, and they've never left Oklahoma, they think everything in Oklahoma is just the only way it can be.
Right.
And then when these dentists start meeting other dentists from Russia and Brazil and Japan, they start realizing, like in America, it's so common to think that, well, whatever Delta Dental does, you have to do. And then you go to Singapore, and they don't even have dental insurance. Either does Brazil. I think an interesting thing about Tokyo is Japan is that when we were little, they told us America was great because people moved there from every country in the world.
Yes, that's
and
right.
we had these immigrants from every corner of the world, and that's why we were great. Then you come to Japan, which is just as great, and it's one of the most isolated countries because it was an island. It's not like Poland where, you know, Russians were traveling through and Germans and Ukrainians and the whole world, you know, everyone's always, or the silk trades all the way from India all the way to Rome and back.
Right.
Japan was an island. It didn't have any neighbors.
Yes.
And only 10% of the dentists read English, so you didn't have really any immigration. Yet you built one of the greatest societies. I mean, just look out this window. I mean, this is
Yes, that's
this
right.
is probably the cleanest, most organized, safest, nicest countries I've ever seen in my life. And I don't think I've seen anything that tops this.
Yeah.
So it goes to show you that just because it's this way in your country, that doesn't mean that's why your country's great. Japan's great, not from immigration, but from a great work ethic and a great culture. And I want to go. You're the director. You're the director of international business for imports for the Japanese dental market for Pentron.
Yes, right.
Now, when I was little, when I got out of school in '87, Pentron was called generic Pentron.
Yeah, in the past. Very old
And-
story.
yeah, old story. I'm
very
old.
old story. It changed a lot in
And that was
20
in
years.
Connecticut. And then it got bought in 2008 by Danaher.
Yes, that's right.
And
That's
so generic
Big change.
Pentron got all swallowed up into the Cavo Kerr
yes,
group.
FibreKor groups. Yes.
Yeah. But Pentron lived on in the Danaher group in Japan.
Yes. Still survive here. Yeah.
It survived in Japan. Is Pentron, is the name brand Pentron really only in Japan now?
In Japan, Pentron is our company name, also the brand name for Pentron products. But in United States, it is only the brand name or kind of the company name of Pentron Clinical, but operated by the FibreKor groups. But we are very happy to import. Still, we can import from FibreKor group for Pentron brand products.
And your number one selling product, you've been in dentistry for 23 years. You're not a dentist. You've been in the dental
I'm not a
business
dentist.
for
I'm a
23
marketing
years.
Side businessman. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, don't be sorry. You know, it's funny. When I started Dental Town, a lot of dentists said, well, you can't let non-dentists on Dental Town. And I said, that's absurd. If you close down 500 dental companies, I'd be trying to fix your tooth with bottled water and a pocket knife. I mean, how I need about 500 dental companies to do the work I do. I mean, for me to do my root canals and fillings and crowns and X-rays and CBCTs and 300 RPM nighttime. I mean, I own Dentist Town, but I didn't use it. I used Dental Town. So Dental Town is always welcome, because you need to see what your dentists are saying about your product.
Actually, yes, because the Japanese doctors, dentists, they wanted to know how American doctors doing this, how they treat in United States patient. So that is also very important for Japanese doctors, dentists, to learn a lot. That's why I used to see your dental town. Sometimes it shows the fiber post-treatment question or something like that. So I brought back to Japanese doctors with my translation. So it helped a lot for our Japanese doctors.
And that's a beautiful story. So your main product that you sell in Japan is the FibreKor post and the Build It fiber reinforcement build-up material.
Yes.
And you have a third of the market share in Japan.
Right.
And Japan is unique in one way in the fact that the Japanese government has a dental insurance plan.
Yes.
And they just approved your product. They started paying for your build-up, your FibreKor build-up
Fiber post.
this year, 2016.
That's right. Just started.
Which made your sales go up significantly.
Yes, that's right.
And they approved it because some people need a non-metal post because of metal allergies.
Yeah.
And
because,
some people have high cosmetic needs.
Yeah. There is one trend for the metal-free restoration. They try to forget about the metal post, metal cast core like that. So everything should be replaced to fiber-made post, non-metal treatment. That's kind of the attitude in Japanese dentistry at this moment. Also, the metal cast core, it used to be used the silver palladium alloys. This silver palladium alloys, the price is fluctuated by the market price because this has a palladium. So government wanted to forget away for this metal price struggle to stabilize the fiber post with glass fiber and composite resin made. This is another purpose to change to the health insurance coverage onto fiber-made post.
Now, one of the dilemmas of your business in Japan is that in America, the dental insurance companies will pay about $1,000 for a root canal, and because of that, we have 4,000 endodontists who just do root canals full time, and in Japan, they're only paying about $100 US for that same molar root canal. So because of that, there's almost no endodontist in Japan.
Very small numbers, but now it's a tendency of growing step by step.
Yeah,
Some
well,
try to impose the American endodontic treatment technique. They try to import to Japan, but still very small numbers at this moment.
But it's hard to do a root canal for $100.
Because $100 is the private practice. Actually, the health insurance coverage costs about less than 100. So
Less than 100.
less than 100 for one root canal treatment. That's why very difficult to keep maintaining with the high cost price.
So is the way they do it, they're not going to sit down and do it in one appointment. So they're going to try to do it in how many appointments?
So many. So every, for instance, every 2 weeks for about 3 to 4 months.
So they want to see you every 2 weeks for 3 to 4 months?
Right.
Is it 3 months or 4 months?
It depends. That's great.
And that's because when I see you, I can charge out an exam fee? So how long would that appointment be when they see you for that root canal appointment? Every 2 weeks.
For diagnostic, after the diagnostic and starting for the extraction like that, then it becomes healing time. It requires so long. It depends the doctor's diagnostic onto the root canal conditions. It depends on each patient's case. Cannot say each specific term, but maybe about 3 to 4 months. For instance, my case, yes, I took also 3 to 4 months to finish my root canal treatment.
Yeah. So in America, we would just sit down and do it in an hour. But in Japan, they're going to have to, because of the third-party insurance, They're gonna have
Yes.
to see every 2 weeks for 3 to
it
4
depends,
months.
or let's say each dental clinic's appointment number is very big. That's why, in my experience with the dental treatment, every patient taking about around 30 minutes only, no more than 1 hour. So, chair time, they try to change one by one, more shortcut to get more patient. Because health insurance treatment, the income is very, very low for doctors, business wise.
So the two main areas the insurance company doesn't cover is orthodontic braces
Mm-hmm.
because that's cosmetic,
Yes.
and dental implants just
Mhm.
because they don't cover them.
Yes. However, this information is a little bit old. It's getting changed. For instance, for the dental implant, it has so many sue or damage at patient. Then, Japanese Consumer Association claimed to the government about the situation. Then after that, finally, it was 2014 April, government started to do health insurance coverage onto dental implant. However, that treatment should be very specific place, like the dental university or a surgery place, where to be registered by ministry. Not every dental clinician can do this dental implant by health insurance, but they can do private. However, sometimes it causes some big trouble for patient.
Well, it's funny how history always repeats itself because when Brandmark started teaching dental implants
Yes,
with the Brandmark implant, which turned into Noble Biocare,
right.
when he first came to the United States, he would only train oral surgeons, and he would not train periodontists or general dentists, and it was very upsetting to general dentists, and a lot of them were very upset that there was companies that were selling products that were not allowed. And then later on, the general dentist and periodontist started doing implants. And throughout the history of America, there were different companies that when they started to launch a product, say with endo, they wanted to only sell it to endodontists. And immediately the lawsuits started flying
Yes,
that you can't do that. So if the Japanese dental insurance is starting to cover implants,
right.
but only in universities, that's a great sign.
Very limited,
Yeah.
educated doctors.
Yeah, but that's a great sign because history shows that now that dental implants got their foot in the door,
Yes, yes.
the only thing they're going to do from there is pry the door open, and they'll be covering dental implants for everybody. It's not a question of if, is it going to take 5 years, 10 years, 20 years?
Yeah. Basically, dental implants is a very good treatment method. Yeah. Why not we do the right way for the patient?
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest clarity, our dental office mission is we wanted to create a dental office where we would want to be patients. And if whenever you get to a fork in the road, if you just say to yourself, well, what is best for the patient? Then that's always the best answer.
And there is one reason why dental implants belong to the health insurance coverage, because most of the dental practitioners originally they didn't do dental implant. It was only for specialized doctors. But due to the health insurance business, very low income, that's why general practitioner try to get dental implant treatment to get the income purpose. That's why only for the calculation purpose, no any detailed education, only just hitting dental implant without the precise diagnostic. It was a big trouble and root cause why it happened like the many patients suffered by the dental implant. Then government decided to settle down every situation. It should be inserted by the specialized oral surgeon only. Of course, there are very specialized doctors, implantologists in Japan. They do very good treatment. It is also very safe, but there are not so many, very limited. But now, patient getting very comfort. No any advertisement or cheaper dental implant like that. Now we can get more reliable doctors, implantologists, by health insurance, also some place with private practice.
You're a businessman.
Yes.
In America, dentists can advertise any way they want: radio, TV, billboards, whatever. In Singapore and Hong Kong, there's no advertisement. What's it like in Japan?
Basically, there is no advertisement on TV. However, a few years ago, one manufacturer started first advertisement on TV, commercial movie. So I was so surprised. Everybody was so surprised. It was a Dentsply.
It was Dentsply.
Yes.
They started advertising on TV.
On TV, yes.
To the dentist or the patient?
Probably both. Yeah.
For both?
Yeah.
What product were they selling?
At that time, it was a silicone product. It's mean zirconium framework like that.
Zirconium.
Yes. But it was a kind of the new sign to Japanese society, going through that kind of the commercial movie for dental itself. But after that, no one following the same. I don't know. But we have many brochures or magazine. That is the main advertisement way in Japanese market.
Is magazines?
Magazines, yes. Weekly magazine, monthly magazine. So many we have.
So a lot of dentists advertise in magazines?
For doctors, yes, there are some advertising for doctors, dental clinics, not only for manufacturers' products.
You know, one of the most interesting things for me being in your country, you have more vending machines than any country on
Cigarette,
earth.
Drinking, everything, yes.
You can get anything in a vending machine. I mean,
Yes.
you can get any snack or basically in America, you would have to go to a 7-Eleven. And I see you have 7-Elevens.
Yeah.
But
convenience shop.
you have most of the 7-Eleven stuff that
Yeah,
you would
also
buy
convenience shop.
in a vending machine.
For instance, I'm sorry, cigarette, so many vending machine, and cold beverage, Coca-Cola, or beer also. We can buy through
Yeah,
vending
beer.
machine,
Yeah.
even though midnight. And some people say that is very convenient for us, however, very dangerous because that is a bankage. Bankage on the road, you see? Inside has many coin. So some mafia, they broke the entire vending machine. Get it away to get the money. So dangerous, and electricity they use everywhere, right? So the Minister of the Metropolitan Tokyo said should cut off the line, but still survive in the society here in Japan. Maybe this is for the business, beverage company business, and convenience. However, it depends.
Well, you know, I used to see it in America. When we used to rent a movie, we used to go to Blockbuster.
Blockbuster.
And, you know, it had a lot of overhead because half the cost of any company is labor.
Yes.
And Blockbuster got bankrupted when another company came out called Redbox, where it was a vending machine. And you could just go get the DVD movie,
A DVD movie.
and you had no people. So the costs were half the price. And I see all your vending machines over here, and I think, you know what? When you go into a convenience store in America, they have all that labor. And in vending machines, you don't have labor.
No labor.
And so you get
Just
24 hours.
Electricity.
Yeah, just electricity.
I think just for the beverage company business purpose.
Yeah.
Very unique.
I want to ask you a theoretical prediction. So when I got out of school in '87, the United Kingdom had 19,000 dentists, and they all participated in the National Health Insurance, the NHS, which paid very low fees, kind of like Japan's. And they had less than 5% that did not participate, just like Japan. Now you come back to the United Kingdom 28 years later, and 5,000 of those 19,000 dentists said, I'm not going to do that anymore. 5,000 quit. So now you're down to like 13,000. Right now, the Japanese health insurance only pays $100 for root canal. All the dentists participate. Do you think 10 or 20 or 30 years from now, this Japan's going to turn into a United Kingdom where a lot of the dentists say, you know what, I don't want to play your insurance game. I can't do a root canal for $100. I'm going to drop it and just charge my own fee. Kind of like what Japan does today with orthodontics. Do you think that's the future of Japan, or do you think the Japanese culture will be different?
I would say Japanese culture would be different. Yes, we would do our own way, I think.
Sure.
Because it depends on the Japanese population and age structures and material cost price situation and government policy with the health insurance system itself. So it depends and it should be very flexible for this total service to patient, I think.
Yeah. So what is so you've been in dentistry for 23 years.
Yes, 23 years, since 1993. Yes.
1993?
Yeah.
So what's got you excited? What's got you excited? Why are you still in dentistry? Do you think you're going to stay in dentistry another 10 or 20 years?
I would like to do that, yes.
You'd like to do that? So
Yes.
would I.
Mm-hmm.
So what's got you excited? Why are you passionate? Why are you in dentistry when you could be in any one of these 10,000
Yes.
million companies
Yeah.
in Japan?
Okay, I would say first, because it's a very small world, only this here, okay? Then even though this small space, so many technique we need to use into the patient comfort. And second, almost every year, or less than every year, or monthly basis, material technology or treatment technique is changing very frequently. And in comparing with Japan and the United States or Europe, it has so much difference. So my position and my preference is to communicate with American, European doctors or practitioners or manufacturers for Japanese dentists, doctors, institute, and the patient to like the sky gate between this line. So this is my passion, to introduce and follow the American latest endodontic material or German latest ceramic material like that. Then it is take time to register for Japanese Ministry of Health. So I will put to collect everything as much as I can, going through the every dental congress in States or Europe. Like last week, I went to meet with Chicago, or Lab Day Chicago for dental laboratory scanner business like that. That is a new passion for me and also new trend for Japanese market, I think. One step behind with American line. So this should be controlled well with much high speed to get introduced to Japanese market. Doctors, patient, everything.
And you know, a faster way of flying from Tokyo to Chicago for the
Yes.
Chicago Midwinter is Dental Town
Ah, that's a good way.
on your app.
Yes.
We have a lot of, we have, like say, about 10% of dentists in Japan read English. So we do have Japanese dentists on here, but I would sure love to get more Japanese dentists because it's a lot faster and easier to learn what the Germans and the Americans are doing on Dental Town
Yeah.
than
I
having to
agree.
fly around the world.
Yeah, no need to fly to Chicago.
How long was your flight? Was it a nonstop from Tokyo to Chicago?
Yes, we have a nonstop by ANA, and eastbound taking about 10, 11 hours, but westbound taking more, 13 hours.
So it was
jet
10
stream.
hours in the jet stream,
Yeah,
but
jet stream.
13 hours coming back?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I think it was 12 hours from, but I'm in Phoenix. They don't have a nonstop to Tokyo from Phoenix, so I have to fly to LA.
LA. Oh,
And it was an hour from Phoenix to LA, and then 12 and a half to Tokyo, and then 6.5 to Singapore, then an hour to Medan, Indonesia. When I left my house
Yep.
on this trip, I went Phoenix, LA, Tokyo, Singapore, Medan, Indonesia. It was 32 hours
32 hours. Oh,
when I left my house to when I got into my hotel room.
How many in-flight meals you took?
30.
That's the problem.
But so what else? What has you passionate about Pentron? You used to work. You started out the first 10 years for another company. What was that?
Yes, it was a Japanese company, Sanking. At that time, it was
Sanking.
belonged to Degussa company in.
And then
in
that
the
got
past.
by Degussa in Germany,
Yes.
which then got bought by Dentsply,
Dentsply, yes.
which now just got married and merged with Sirona, another German company.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's interesting. So it goes to show you that all these dental companies, they all are born and then they all have an exit strategy. They all end up dying, merging, getting acquired.
That is, I would say, another excitement. There is no stabilized business position. That's why always we need to adapt to the change happen in the States or Europe. we need to do much effort to do that, to get the right thing to do for Japanese market with good product. Because the manufacturer changing a lot, we need to maintain the supply for Japanese doctors. That is another passion for me.
Now, one of the biggest companies in Japan ever was GC.
Yes, GC, Shofu, Tokuyama, Kurare, like that.
But GC was the biggest, weren't they?
I would say yes.
And they just moved their headquarters to Switzerland?
Yes, I think it was for the taxation purpose.
That was for taxes?
Yeah, that's right.
And you see a lot of German companies moving their headquarters to Austria for taxes.
Austria, really? I
Yeah.
never heard
Or Luxembourg. Or,
yeah.
yeah.
Luxembourg, yes, very famous
Yeah.
place.
In the United States, they move them to Vegas or the Bahamas.
I see.
So, what did you think of the Dentsply? Because your last company got bought by Degussa, which got bought by Dentsply, which now married another German company.
Mm-hmm.
Does that affect Japan in any way?
I would say yes, something affected. But always we confused what was the original company policy. They change very frequently. Of course, I know the German style by Degussa, and second, American style going through Dentsply, and next, Danaher style is FibreKor group like that. It is very good for my experience. I understand everything about German sense, American sense, and something the others. But for the Japanese society, I'm not sure what is good, what is bad.
Well, let me ask you it this way. A lot of people say that Dentsply kind of had the old analog world of impressions and
Yes,
fillings and crowns.
everything.
And Sirona was the new digital age with
Yes.
CAD-CAM, with Serac, with Galileo, CBCT. So it was kind of, Dentsply didn't have a future digital strategy. And Sirona wanted some of the material blocks, you know. Does CAD-CAM have a big future in Japan, or do you think it's going to stay more with impressions and dental laboratory technicians?
I would say CAD-CAM technology and the requirement is growing very faster, I think.
It's growing fast?
I believe. That's why I'm tracking this situation, going through the lab day, Chicago last week. And scanners, milling machine, and also 3D printers, material-wise like the blocks and etc. It changed a lot. So we need to do much more faster movement to import for Japanese doctors and patients.
So it's hard to get exact numbers, but it seems like America has about 13,000 Serac machines being used and 1,000 E4Ds. Japan has 100,000 dentists. Do you know how many Serac machines or E4Ds?
I'm sorry, I have no idea of that.
No idea.
Maybe
Would
that's
you
just
think it's?
zeros.
Would you think it's less than 1%? Would you think it's 2%?
Because I know many dental clinics using the Select by their clinics, but those clinics are very good business or good rich dental clinics only. But
Now-
majority are not very rich, so
Now, are those clinics participating in the Japanese dental insurance, or are those private clinics?
that is another point about the new health insurance system. It was last year, 2015, April. Government stated the composite resin block to be health insurance coverage treatment. So
For a crown?
For crown, for single crown.
And what
Or
is a
let's say-
crown fee in U.S. dollars? In the United States, it'd be about, I'd say the average PPO price for a crown is
It was,
$850.
I remember, not sure, but about 8,000 Japanese yen.
8,000?
Japanese yen.
So what's that, Ryan? What's 8,000 Japanese yen?
It's
It'd be
about,
divided by
Divided by 114. So
divided by 114.
$75 around that.
that's 70.
$75.
So they're only paying $75 for a
For
crown?
one crown, but cuspid and bicuspid only. Not for
For-
molars. Yeah.
And what do they pay for molars?
Not stated that, but starting from coming April, it will be applied also the molars. After that, we can check the how much.
So they're only going to pay $75 for a crown.
Yes,
Hmm.
but using the composite resin block. Composite resin. They limited.
How much?
only
How
for
much would
material.
they pay if it was a porcelain crown made at a lab by a dental laboratory technician?
More than $200, I think. 300, 400. It depends.
It would be $300 to $400.
Yes, it's a not a health insurance coverage. It is a private practice.
Okay,
Very
so
expensive. Very expensive. Yeah.
oh, interesting. Because I really believe that money's the answer. What's the question? And when you go to a country, if they're only getting a small amount of money for a procedure,
Mm-hmm.
they say if you want more of something, subsidize it by the government or don't tax it or raise the fee. And if you want less of something,
Yeah.
if you want less of something, tax it. And if you want more of something, subsidize it. So it seems like a lot of countries, the fee the dentist can charge for the procedure really determines the utilization. I'll give you a classic example. So Röntgen discovered X-rays in 1895, and X-rays were never used in dentistry all the way to almost 1958. And then out of nowhere, dental insurance pops up, private dental insurance that's paid for by the employer, and they covered 100% of X-rays. So just like a domino effect, from coast to coast, every dentist in America bought an X-ray machine. Because if I took an X-ray, I would
Yes.
send it into
Uh-huh.
these longshoremen's dental insurance of Long Island, and they'd pay 100%.
Really, 100%.
So Röntgen had an X-ray machine for half a century, and they weren't used. And then when a third party said, "Oh, we'll cover X-rays at 100%," they were all used. So history usually repeats itself. So I think a lot of Japanese's future will depend on what the dentist can convince the Japanese insurance companies to pay.
That's right.
And you got your FibreKor post covered
Yes.
this year.
Right. That's
And
right.
that's chain cells.
And,
And
I would say
so
also-
so where the money flows, the dentistry will follow.
Yeah, that's right. Also, the microscope business. I think it could have a similarity with X-ray, I think. Not like a big domino, but step by step, it gets started now. Because the microscope, so far very expensive one, was released to the market. But now the price market is getting lower and lower. Then realizing that the government states also the health insurance coverage to check by microscope, starting from maybe April like this. That could also changing for the kind of new domino effect. Every clinics use microscope for the treatment, not for the root canal treatment, but also just checking the margin line or shade or stability or occlusal situation only. That could be also new trend in Japanese market, I think.
I also want to ask you, what's the state? You've been in dentistry 23 years. What's the state of the use of silver mercury fillings? What percent of the filling market in Japan is silver fillings versus
Are you talking about mercury?
mercury,
Ah.
silver, zinc, copper, tin?
Very rare.
Very rare. How rare?
And I cannot say any figures, but this is also new health insurance system. They try to move out that mercury treatment.
So the Japanese health insurance quit paying for mercury? When did they quit paying for mercury?
Most probably from this April.
Just this April.
Yes.
So you
No,
Americans
it-
heard it first on Dentistry Uncensored with Howard Farran. Breaking news. So
I need to check once again, but
But it was this year.
Some reports say from April
2015.
under the discussion about the committee of the insurance.
They
Most
just
probably
quit covering mercury.
They try to move out from.
You know what I think the final straw on mercury was? Because, the bottom line is, the whole time I've been talking to you, I can't see any of your molars.
Okay.
I mean, I can see your front upper 60s, but I can't see any of your
Yeah,
molars. And you probably can't see any of mine.
yeah. Some, but I have mercury here.
Yeah, and so do I. And the bottom line is they last forever. And but the last straw for me was when I read the data because mercury inside a human, I don't care what anybody says, I can't see how you can prove that it causes any harm because it's an insoluble salt. If you swallow an amalgam, 24 hours later, you pass it. But when you cremate humans, that accounts for 6% of the atmospheric mercury is from America cremating 3 million dead humans a year. And they put them in the oven and they turn them to ash, and those mercury fillings turn to vapor. And so it's mercury, ethyl mercury, methyl mercury. It's too toxic, and when you're so it's pretty dead. I want to ask you another interesting question.
Yes.
You know, one of the things I love traveling around the world is everybody always says that, you know, as the sugar has increased in the diet, so has the decay rate.
Yes, right.
But you know, but when you go actually meet dentists in Indonesia and Malaysia and Singapore and Japan, every 50, 60-year-old dentist I talk to says that the amount of sugar has massively increased in their lifetime, but the number of cavities has declined, and that the reason it's declined is because the consumer, the parent, is getting involved in brushing and flossing.
Right, brushing.
And then it's not related to, like Japan doesn't use fluoridated water. Singapore does. America does in 70% of the towns. And here in Japan, Tokyo, with no fluoridated water, decays plummeted because the people are brushing and flossing. And so at the end of the day, it really comes down to, do you brush 2 minutes every morning, every night? Do you floss before you go to bed? And that is going to determine your decay rate, not water fluoridation or whether you drink a soda pop.
Not by water, but a kind of the kindergarten or TV program for the small children. They used to show the exercise of how to make a brushing with nice music. So even though my kids, they were very happy to see the TV program, it shows a high brushing teeth every day, morning, night. So that's a habit, custom.
Yeah.
Learning from the education. Yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, even the kids decay in declining, not by adult. That is more important, I think.
So last question, you just got back from Chicago Midwinter. What got you the most excited at the Chicago Midwinter?
Well, this time the intraoral scanner.
Now-
Many manufacturers exhibited there.
Now, you're talking about an intraoral scanner for the dentist to scan an impression and then email it to a lab, and then they make the crown with
Right.
CAD CAM?
Yes.
Or are you talking about the dentist scanning and milling it chairside?
I think the first one.
Sending it to lab.
Sending to lab.
Yeah,
SGA
and you know
data.
what? That is what I think is the business model shaking out in America. I know so many dentists who started with the oral scanner and milling out chair time, and now they're realizing, my God, I'm spending an hour or two milling out this crown when I could have seen another patient and prepped that for a crown. And they really bought a $150,000 machine, and they've docked themselves from a dentist to a lab tech, or they try to get their assistant to do it, but their assistant is not as fast as a dental lab tech that's been doing this forever and only does one thing. So it really, I think the next stage of this market, I think the bleeding edge and the leading edge were, I'm going to oral scan and mill it out on the chair side. But I think for the mass market, it's going to be, I'm going to oral scan and send it to a lab and let him CAD cam it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it's a lot easier for my assistant and me to make it temporary than to make the final restoration, stained, glazed, matched. I mean,
Yeah.
if a dentist wants to be a lab tech, he wasted a hell of a lot of time in dental school. And so is that what you think?
Yes, getting more popular and popular. Yes, because it was a time CAD CAM symposium last year November. I went to the Anaheim. So some doctor said every success of the crown depends on the impression, not by the technician's technique. If dentist took a right impression, the finished crown will be perfect. So in this case, this intraoral scanner made a perfect job for the patient going through dental technicians. So that will make me very excited. So in future, maybe every dental clinic have one intraoral scanner, and therefore the impression material business will be maybe declining in future.
That's why Dentsply wanted to buy Sirona.
for the future trend. But
And I
design-
also think this scanner, the simplest way for a dentist to increase their quality, and by quality I mean a low quality would be an American Chevy, Chrysler, Pontiac,
yeah.
and a high quality would be Toyota or Honda.
yeah, Skyline. Yes.
I still have to hand it to you. I think the only great cars in the world are made in your country, Nippon, and in Deutschland.
Germany.
And I don't think they're built in the United States, but the easiest way to go from low quality to high quality is magnification. When a dentist puts on loops and can see 2.5 or 3.5 times bigger, they just do far better work. When the endodontist drops a microscope and they can see the inside of that tooth just 8, 10, 12 times higher, the quality goes to the roof. When I got my oral scanner, I got a CEREC machine. When I started scanning those preps and I could see my prep, 20, 30, 40 times larger, I was just like, oh my God. I felt embarrassed. And so it was going back. So my best takeaway from an oral scanner is that you get to see your magnification.
Yes, that's
It's
right.
all about magnification. And in the old day, we would take an impression and then we would look at it under a light and we'd put on our loops and we'd try to see, but you couldn't really, and it's just like, well, do you think it's good? And you're like, yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good. Well, now you see it 40 times larger on your computer screen.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the
Camera.
hell is that over there?
Yeah,
And you
yes.
jump back in the chair and you put an end cutting barrel burr and you get Softlex disc and you smooth everything out. And I think the magnification is amazing.
Yeah, and also technology-wise, improvement changing a lot because originally it was using with a powder spray to
Yeah.
get the correct scanning data, but
Right.
now everybody changing to the powder-free system itself.
Yeah.
That is a new challenge and kind of new changeness. Also, this time in Midwinter, Chicago, I found non-American products, non-European products. One is a Korean product. Second is from Israel. They are offering a very good price information.
For an oral scanner
Yes, intraoral scanner.
out of Korea and
Yes,
Israel?
Yes.
And
so
do you-
those companies very, very nice, I think.
Do you have the websites for those?
Yes, I will send you later through email. Yeah.
You don't have it with you?
Not now.
Okay,
I'm
well
sorry.
send me the websites later.
Yes. One is a very nice Korean manufacturers.
Yeah, and it's just an oral scanner.
Oral scanner. Also, they have a system with a milling machine and a 3D printer connecting together. But
For the chair side.
for chair side, yes.
I'm I have to say that I've had CEREC. I had the CEREC 1 in '87. I had the CEREC 2. I had the CEREC 3. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had CEREC my
The
whole
chair side
life.
system. Yeah.
But you know what? I don't buy the chair side milling. I don't buy it. I don't think when I go to a dental lab and they're using CAD CAM, those lab techs are making 50 crowns a day. And they've been doing it for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And me and my assistant just can't compete with that. They just do it so much faster. And the belief that the patient wants it in the same day, well, we mill it, we can make it the same day. But most people don't ask about the same day. Most people ask, just like we were talking about, how much does it cost?
Yeah.
That's half the market.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the other half is it going to hurt? Or what is it going to look like? Or, what is it going to feel like? I mean, having it in the same day, that's not even 1% of the market. So I think the oral scanners and then the lab, and then someone in the lab who just focuses on making 50 crowns a day is the future.
Yes, that is the future. Definitely, yes. I think the chair side is only for inlay. That is good for inlay services. But for crown, that is another story. You
Yeah.
need to match with the shape.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
We're
litigation
talking
too.
crowns,
Yeah.
and especially anterior crowns.
Yeah, into crowns. Yes.
Yeah, a posterior inlay or a posterior crown on a short, fat, bald guy like me who doesn't care what it looks like because no one's going to see it and just wants form. I mean, all mine are gold. I mean, I just want it to work. So, I mean, you can do it on a 50-year-old grandpa who just wants it form, function, quality. And well, hey, you've been I can't thank you so much for coming by and
Oh,
seeing
my
me.
pleasure.
It was just an honor to meet you, and congratulations on your country. I mean, my
Nice.
God,
You. Yeah.
it is just so amazing. Ryan, thank you for being on vacation with me for 18 days. How many podcasts did you film in 4 countries?
13.
So when Dad said, "Hey, do you want to go on vacation with me to 4 countries?" Did you know that you'd be working from 5 in the morning to midnight, 7 days a week, the whole trip? Did you know that?
Yeah, I was assuming it.
He was assuming it. Good son. Good
Very
son.
good. Very good. Yeah.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you so much.
Me too. Thank you so
Okay.
much. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you
Very
very
good.
much.
Thank you.